welcome to our practice for our fourth Klesha. We're going to be working on Dvesha. And for Dvesha, we're going to focus on the lower back. So let's roll down onto our mat. As you come down, tucking your shoulder blades underneath you, settling the back of your pelvis onto the floor. Letting your feet settle against the floor. Giving yourself a few moments in stillness. And we'll start by checking in with what your lower back feels like. We're focusing on this area because it's a space where we can tend to hold a lot of stress or fear. And drawing the left knee into the chest, using both hands to pull the knee towards you. Releasing the left knee, drawing the right knee in. Releasing the right knee. We'll go back and forth like that. As the knee comes in, now we'll start to rock it from side to side, softening the muscles around your hip joint. Right knee comes into the chest, rocking it from side to side. As you release the right knee, stretch the legs straight out. Bring the arms up overhead. We'll come into a full body stretch. Fingers and toes reaching away. Keeping the left leg out long, draw your right knee into your chest. You can reach out through the left toes or through the ball of the foot to create some space. Coming back into your full body stretch with the arms over the head. And then we'll go over to the left knee. Pulling the left knee in. The right leg comes up just enough to hover off the floor so that you can reach out through the toes. You feel like you have a lot of length down through the right leg. Arms overhead. Full body length. Draw the right knee in. As the right knee comes in, this time we'll start to rock the knee from side to side, softening the hip. Pulling both knees into the chest, lifting the head, squeezing the body into a cannonball shape. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Your right leg lengthens out. The left knee comes into the chest, and we just rock that left knee from side to side. Right knee comes in, draw the head up, pull yourself into a little ball. The head releases down, release your feet down, stretch everything out. Now we'll come to the right knee. Draw the right knee into the chest, lift your forehead towards your knee. Feeling some strong activation in the abdominal muscles as you lift up. Left leg is lengthening out. Lower your head down, draw both knees into your chest. And then we'll switch sides from there. Right leg stretches out. Pull your forehead towards your left knee. Relax your head down. Come back to both knees, pulling back into the chest. You can open the knees a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Start to rock from side to side, just allowing soft movement in the hips. Rocking right across the lower back and the sacrum. And then we'll circle the knees together, open them out to the sides and draw them back. Then reverse that circle, push them away, pull the knees together. Circling through that ball and socket joint at the hip. Rocking your knees forward and back, pulling them in, pushing them away. Straightening your legs up toward the ceiling and giving the ankles a little pedal. We'll start to pump the legs. Exhale, bending the knees down. Inhale, straightening the legs, pressing up through the heels. And this time, holding the legs straight, start to circle the feet. Starting with a pretty small circle, keeping control with the abdominal muscles. And then reversing that circle, drawing the feet around the opposite direction. You'll feel this creating a really nice massage around your lower back, around your sacrum. Bend the knees, pull the head toward the knees, squeeze the body in. Releasing the knees, releasing your head down. And then let's roll over to the side. Carefully press yourself up into sitting. And we'll come over into a tabletop position, onto hands and knees. So as you come into tabletop, square off the joints. And then we'll start to sway from side to side. See what your spine feels like, especially your lower back. The muscles that come around the top of the pelvis, toward the lower belly. Moving the spine forward and back. This is our cat and cow pose, keeping that same awareness right at the top of the pelvis. The lower back, the hip crests, right around the front of the pubic bone. Flattening the back out into table, finding a very neutral position by drawing your lower belly up. And we're going to isolate that cat and cow movement just with the pelvis. It's a very small movement. You can almost make it out here. I'm tucking my tailbone underneath and then releasing my tailbone. Okay, working a little deeper into the hips. Take your right leg, start to create some really big knee circles. Circling forward a few times, circling backwards. This is that space of gathering information. What does your hip feel like? As you come back into center, take a few of those pelvic tilts, tuck the tail and then release it. Keeping that movement just in the lower back and the lower belly. We'll transition over to the left leg, creating big circles forward. And then big circles backwards. Coming through table, pressing yourself into a cat. Releasing the belly down into a cow. Strong pressure through the hands as you round through cat. Rolling through the spine. We'll come back into table and then start to shift yourself forward into a knee down plank, carefully making a transition down onto your belly. And as you come onto the mat, stacking your hands underneath your forehead, creating a nice little pillow for your head. We'll lift the right leg up and behind the body. So you're reaching out through the toes. You're trying to create a very long line through your leg, keeping the knees straight. feeling the muscles in the back of the leg lifting. As you exhale, lower that leg down. We'll go over to the other side, lifting your left leg up, lifting from the heel, lengthening out through the toes. And lower that leg down. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. This time using your inhale to lift into a low cobra. And if your back feels okay with that, we're going to take the legs up at the same time. So we're in a prone version of both. And you can see the legs can start to move with the breath. Inhale, opening out to the sides of the mat. Exhale, draw the big toes together. This is a nice strengthening and stabilizing work for the lower back. As you exhale, lowering down. Use your inhale, press up through table. Give yourself a little sway from side to side. Moving through some cat and cow, just checking how the lower back feels after that strengthening work. Send your right leg straight back. As you exhale, tuck the knee underneath your body, round your spine. Inhale, lift. Exhale, draw down. And we'll take that movement on the other side. Send your left leg back as you inhale. Exhale, knee toward the chest. Coming back into table, widening your knees out to the sides of the mat. Walk the hands toward the front edge of the mat to lengthen your spine as you release down into child's pose. Rocking up into table. We're going to tuck the toes underneath and come up onto the feet. You can rock yourself back, heel toeing the feet out toward the sides of the mat to come into a low squat. This is our malasana squat. Using the elbows to gently press the knees out toward the sides. Letting the tailbone drop down, so there's a nice lengthening that's happening through the lower back. Releasing the arms, straightening the legs, sending your hips up into a forward bend. As you inhale, lift halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Exhale, forward bend. Soften the knees. Let your inhale roll all the way up the body into standing, swinging the arms up. If it feels okay on your neck, you can lift your gaze and arch back into a slight back bend. As you exhale, draw the hands into heart center. Releasing the arms, stepping up toward the top of your mat. Shift your weight onto your left foot. Start to draw your right knee up into a stork position. Finding your balance there, and then using the hands to draw the knee into your chest. Very similar position that we used during our warm-up when we were down on the mat. Holding the right knee with the right hand, we'll start to open that away from the body. Drawing the knee back towards center, pulling it in with both hands. lengthening up through your spine as you pull the knee in. And exhale, release the foot down. We'll set up to do the same thing on the other side, standing on your right foot, lifting your left knee, using both arms to pull the knee in. It creates this nice sense of leverage. As the knee comes in, your spine lengthens up, keeping your toes and your foot active to help keep your balance. And then holding the left knee with your left hand to open the knee out to the side. Transitioning very slowly as you open the knee or close the knee. Those are some areas where it's a little tricky for our balance. The knee comes back towards center, drawing it in, lengthening the spine, lowering that foot down. We'll come up to the top of the mat, open palms, inhale, rising up with the arms. Maybe lifting your gaze or taking a back bend. As you exhale, softening the knees, diving down halfway, flattening the back, and then going all the way down into forward bend. As you find your forward bend, you can pedal the feet, bending one knee and then the other knee, just to work a little deeper into the hamstrings. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. We'll take the right leg, step that all the way back into a high lunge, and then bring the left leg back as well. So we find a downward facing dog. Settling into your down dog, taking a few breaths to press the pelvis back, lengthen through the sitting bones, lengthen through the tailbone. On your exhale, drop your knees down. Come into a seated position. And we'll swing the legs out to the front of the mat. As you come through seated, left leg extends out, right knee bends. We come into Janu Sirsasana. Taking an exhale, carefully, slowly working your way out over the left leg. And we're coming down in a way that keeps the back long. We're trying to keep the front of the body open, pressing our heart toward the big toe. Inhale, walking yourself up. Pulling both knees in toward the chest. Wrap the arms around. Give your legs a hug. And then we'll move over to the other side. Extend your right leg out, bending your left knee. Start to walk yourself out over the right leg. Coming back to that sense of pressing your heart forward, keeping the front of the body long as you bend into it. As you inhale, walking back up into sitting and drawing the knees towards you. Wrap the arms around. Give yourself a hug. Releasing the legs, come into seated on the mat. Take a slow, controlled exhale to lower yourself down onto your back. The knees pull into the chest once again. Noticing if your lower back feels like it has more space than when you first started your practice. As you inhale, stretch the heels up toward the ceiling. Exhale the knees to the chest. Release the feet down. Let your knees fall open to the sides. Bring your arms into any comfortable position, maybe out to the sides or up in a cactus position. We'll end our practice here. You can stay in this shape or you can straighten the legs out and come into Shavasana. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.